Welcome back for another meatless recipe. I have one for you today that I guarantee you haven't seen before. For this recipe, feel free to use any colored bell pepper you like. I'm starting off by thinly slicing my onion, so thin you could almost see through it. Now I'm taking one whole jalapeno pepper and doing the same thing. Keeping the seeds will intensify the heat of your dish, so if you don't want it too hot, be sure to remove the seeds before thinly slicing your pepper. Here I have my cooking oil heating and I have my green jackfruit from a can. I got this one from Trader Joe's. If you do get yours in a can, be sure to rinse a few times and drain before putting into your pan. I'm going to toss in my diced onion and jalapeno and let that all heat up together. Now this is the part I always leave up to you. Season the jackfruit however you'd like, what you desire to taste. Now I'm adding in some low sodium vegetable broth, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Bring that to a boil. And then cover it to let all of that jackfruit steam up and soften up in the juices. Here are my bell peppers getting ready to go in the oven for a bit. I cut the tops of them and then gutted all the seeds out. It's going to make perfect space for stuffing. Now I'm going to rice my cauliflower. You can always buy pre-riced cauliflower to save time. Now that most of the liquid has reduced and the jackfruit has softened up, it should be tender enough to tear apart. I usually use 2 forks to do this step. And all you have to do is gently tear it apart, and I usually go through it and try to pick out any of the big seed pods that I see in there or any weird fleshy parts. It should start mimicking shredded chicken at this point. Go ahead and give it a fluff, and your jackfruit mix is all ready to go. Here I have some rinsed, drained black beans and pinto beans and my riced cauliflower. So these are going to be some peppery stuffed peppers. So just keep in mind that I am adding in all the peppers I can. So I added in some canned green chilies just to make it a little more saucy. And now I'm adding in the tops of the bell peppers that I have in the oven, just so that I don't waste any. They're perfectly fine, usable. Limit your waste in the kitchen. Now I'm adding in my riced cauliflower to the jackfruit mixture, and then giving that a really good mix. So if you've ever cooked cauliflower rice before, you know that much of the flavor can get diluted once it starts cooking down. So here I'm just adding in a little bit of extra seasoning. I went with some ground cumin and some garlic powder. This is totally optional. Feel free to taste it before adding these in. If you feel like it's enough, then go ahead and skip this step. I just pulled these bell peppers out of the oven. I had them baking at 350 for about 20 minutes. Take them out and let them cool for a few minutes before handling. Now we're going to get to stuffing. So I added the beans to the bottom layer of the peppers, topped the second layer with the cauliflower and jackfruit mixture, and then the third layer of beans. Feel free to season your beans however you'd like. Again, it's up to you and your flavor palette. You see what we did with the jackfruit, just use your imagination, and what you think would go well with that, go ahead and season your beans with. So we have the beans on the bottom, our cauliflower and jackfruit mixture in the middle, and now top that all off with some beans. So easy. This is going to be packed with flavor, different textures. And I love to stuff the bell peppers this way. I know you can cut them down the middle and lay them on their side, which makes it easier for eating. But my favorite part is putting these on a plate, cutting into them, and just letting everything spill out. This recipe obviously serves 4. It can serve 2 if you have a big appetite. Perfect for 1 to 2 people, and if you need to make more, just be sure to double this recipe. I topped mine off with some avocado salsa, and I'm going to pop them back in the oven just for a few minutes to get the tops a little crispy, crunchy. And there you have it, your stuffed meatless peppers. Full of protein, full of flavor, so good for you, and it tastes just as delicious. I served it with half an avocado and some hot sauce, cilantro if that's your jam. And go ahead and dig in. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Be sure to subscribe for weekly meatless ideas.